offer my more, you mischievous weans.
Actually, we'd prefer to stay.
Hello, I'm Judah.
And I'm Zion.
And we are the Amateur Film Critics. And
woohoo.
Why do we always say woohoo? I think we were talking about this in the last one we recorded. But yeah, we always say woohoo after the Amateur Film Critics. We probably need to figure out some better way to transition from that little intro to the actual thick of it.
Okily-dokily-doo! Hens love roosters, geese love ganders, everyone else loves Ned Flanders.
Not me.
Which, today's movie, I gotta say, we found a weird one. I thought we had found a weird one with Dr. Strangelove, but this one might be even weirder, in my opinion.
I think it's a good one, but...
Yeah, it's a good one, but it's much more... I would say it's much more obscure than Dr. Strangelove. I feel like Dr. Strangelove was somewhat popular.
I feel like...
Even if it was, very,
I feel like people...
under the radar.
I feel like Dr. Strangelove was a general film that people know about, but mostly haven't actually sat down and watched.
Yeah.
This one, I don't think a lot of people have heard about it.
Yeah, I never heard about it until Zion was like, dude, I found this DVD in my basement. Yeah, so, Zion, before I get into reading...
how we find a lot of strange...
Yeah, his family has a lot of, very obscure movies, on DVD. Actually, our family does too, in a way, but I think your family has more. And would you agree? You've seen our DVD set, but, yeah.
Yeah.
But, Zion, you have a history with this film, because this is, sort of the weird thing that you look back on and it's not as scary, but it freaks you out as a kid.
Let me explain my experience with this film. So, if y'all are fans of this YouTuber called The Odd Ones Out, he made a video on how, as a child, he walked into a room while his family was watching The Dark Crisis of a Doll, and he was told to leave the room because it was too scary for him. Or I believe that's...
I think he watched the entire film, actually, as a kid, and it just freaked him out, yeah.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah, but anyways... I think I'm thinking of when he talked about Jurassic Park, I think.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right, actually.
Anyways, so as a child, my parent and some friends were watching this film, and the living room, and I remember walking in on it and being told I was not allowed to watch it. And I remember it was this film because I remember how the little girl like looked,
Mm-hmm.
and that image will just because what I saw of the film on the TV while they were watching it was an image of this little girl just staring blankly at the TV, and so that image was just ingrained into my mind.
Yes.
And then we watched this, and I remember that. I believe in Hot Dad, I came down here and watched Barnyard, the Kevin James classic.
Yes.
Barnyard.
Yes.
Dude, I got an arm!
All right, yes!
Yeah, so this is Zion's, that thing you saw as a kid. I honestly think this is something that's happened to everyone. They saw something that looking back, it's not as scary, but it freaks them out. For me, it was an episode of Psych, which is a show I love nowadays, by the way, but...
Psych! Psych, psych, psych. Sign, super psych.
I think he's trying to psych you out.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
I've only heard of that show because of him.
Yeah, he's only heard of that show because I love that show. But, yes, so we have not said that. I just realized we have not told them what movie we're watching. We watched this movie called The Bad Seed. And I gotta say, it was way better than I expected it. So I'm just gonna go ahead.
This was a really good film.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead
really
and read the summary. Air Force Colonel Kenneth Penmark, who's in the movie for a total of 20 minutes, probably, and his wife, Christine, I don't know what that word is. It's spelled D-O-T-E, but I've never heard it used. On their pigtailed daughter, Rhoda, as does lonely landlord Monica Breedlove. Okay, so I think it means they love her. But self-centered Rhoda has a secret tendency for selfishness and loves to accumulate gifts, whether given or stolen, in her room. Christine keeps her knowledge of her daughter's darker side to herself, but when a schoolmate of Rhoda's dies mysteriously, her self-deception unravels. Okay. So that's I would say that's kind of a pretty vague
That's a
one.
weird explanation.
It's a weird explanation of it, but here's the deal.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird It's like one of the only ones I found on Google, and so.
But here's the deal.
I didn't read the summary beforehand.
If you have not watched this movie and you're watching this review, I recommend you watch the movie before you watch the review. Because you want to go into this as blind as possible.
Because I am colorblind.
I would say.
Yes,
you
do. Don't watch this review beforehand.
Yeah, we're going to spoil this greatly.
I don't think this is on any streaming.
It's not. You're going to have to rent it. I think it's on Vudu, but you're going to obviously have to rent it or buy it that way. But even with him, because I watched this before he did, and when he was asking me, what's this film about, I refused to tell him nothing because I thought he would enjoy it way more if I didn't say anything about it. So right off the bat, this is a great film to watch blind. You should just go watch it and then come back and watch this. But so the first thing we have on our set of discussion topics is sort of the tone/feeling of the film, which I actually found kind of interesting because, in my opinion, I don't think you felt this way, but in my opinion, this goes for sort of the kind of Alfred Hitchcocky, like suspense type of movie.
Good evening.
That's the way it feels like it's supposed to go for me. but it breaks it up a lot with sort of a lot of drama, which was very strange. Do you want to give your take on it?
And you see, I would compare this film because I am more of a Twilight Zone fan than an Alfred Hitchcock fan.
I love
Alfred Hitchcock's okay, but I would more compare this to a Twilight Zone episode.
Springfield, an average little town with a not-so-average monster.
Because this movie, even though it starts off kind of calmly, there's still this eerie sense to it, like in a Twilight Zone episode. And then it goes deep into...
Yeah.
It
goes deep into...
The only way I can basically describe the film is... Basically, the only way I can describe it is it's like a Twilight Zone episode that got turned into its own movie.
Yeah.
But...
And, I was in, within the first 10 minutes of watching this film, I was hooked, and, not much had happened. The guy just literally left, and they were sort of swooning over this, sort of mature little girl. But there was just something about the way the characters were, and I don't know if it was the dialogue or what, that felt so off. I don't know what it was. But it's...
Yeah, it starts off the little girl throughout the entire thing is off place, and it really draws you into why is this girl acting the way she did,
Why?
Absolutely. So the next thing
you just know there's something not normal about her.
Yeah, there's something not normal about her, which I think we're about to just spoil that normal part about her, what's not normal about her in this next one. Because the next thing we talk about the death of this film, because there's actually multiple. They don't show anything, but according to the story, a lot of deaths happen.
I think it's
kind of good. I think it works better that way.
They don't even. Yeah, this works really well because they don't show you any of the bodies.
Yeah,
and so you can either leave the people telling you these people were. I don't know.
It adds to the mystery of it in a way.
It adds to the mystery.
So these
deaths, in a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, these deaths were all caused by the little girl. If you couldn't have predicted it by now, who killed them for multiple reasons, but it really started from her selfishness of wanting something they had or whatever. You know what I mean? So Zion. What do you think? Do you think the way she how do you think these deaths play out in the film? Do you think they're pretty good as far as contributing story? Do you think they were maybe a little far fetched? What do you think?
I don't think they were far fetched.
Yeah.
I think these films play out almost perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any flaws to the deaths, just other than maybe at the very end of the film.
Yeah, the very end of the film, spoilers.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later.
Let's not talk about that later.
Yeah, I agree. I think the deaths in the film really play well to everything. They all seem like something the little girl could have caused, and they all I don't know. They add to they all looked like accidents. That's the other big thing, is they all looked like accidents, so no one would suspect the little girl did anything. So that was another interesting part, I would say. So I know we literally just hinted at this, but I think we now should talk about how the film ended, which is quite strange, I gotta say. Do you want to explain it?
The mother basically is putting the child to... Well, the word has got out about the deaths, and...
Yeah.
Basically, the mother knows the child has committed these murders, and the mother is blaming herself for the murders.
Yeah.
Basically, because her mother was this famous, like,
famous
murderer.
serial killer, yeah.
Famous, like, serial killer, and so she believes that it's, like, blood related. Her blood is
genetic,
passed down onto her child. And so she feels like almost if she would be blamed, and she blames herself for these murderers. And so she basically asked for this sleeping medicine to give to the daughter. And then so she gives the pills to her daughter after she reads her like a story. Then after this long talk to her, which I really liked that part.
Yeah.
So she is quietly putting her to bed, and then goes in the other room. And out of nowhere, you hear this loud bang. And to me, that would have been the perfect ending to the film.
Yeah.
You know, it would have just led you with this, almost this 2001 A Space Odyssey feeling, or I believe if this was an episode of the Twilight Zone, then that's where they would have
ended. Absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's where they would have ended. But instead, the film kind of shows you the aftermath. Then, the father takes the daughter home and is putting her down to bed, and then they both go to sleep, and then while the dad gets a phone call, the daughter sneaks out and goes to the pond area where the first death happened, and brings a like net, and then the father gets the call that the wife is going to live, and you actually see the wife talking to the husband, and then it ends with, while the daughter is, trying to get something out of the pond, a strike of lightning hits the dock, and then the film ends almost like, I don't know, maybe a sign from God, but that's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, it's so strange. The lightning strike just taking her out at the end. I mean, so
like maybe it's more, well, because before the movie this was a play, and before the play this was a book, and now I kind of want to read the book just because I think maybe it explains this better in the book. It explains the ending.
Almost like 2001: A Space Odyssey's book. Know. Yeah, I know what you mean, but so
maybe it gives an explanation to why or what this was supposed to be.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It probably should have ended when the mom killed herself, because this entire time during the movie, you sort of have this build up, and the mother slowly, I don't know, she's so distressed. Yeah. She's slowly losing it.
Yeah,
the mother
I feel like it's building up. And so when the bang actually kind of like shocked me a little, because I was not expecting that. And so as it panned out, I was thinking to myself, wow, this is such a great film. It's such a good ending. But then an image of the father appears and them talking, and I was confused on, wait, what? There's more to the film? Why is there more to the film?
And I will say that I did sort of see the mother killing herself coming, but only because they hinted at the husband having a revolver in the house earlier. That was the only thing that led me to remember that. Yeah.
See, I didn't really catch that part.
Yeah, it was like a blinking and miss it line. So, but yeah, it's super interesting, and the tension just builds up so that when it does that ending, it doesn't make any sense. But I will say, I believe it's the play, because a lot of times with like stage shows, they go longer than movies go, and so there's usually some extra bits at the end. They don't end as abruptly as movies do sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of want to read the book.
Yeah.
Just to see if it's kind of a similar ending in the book, or if they go on a completely like different path. You know.
I bet it's pretty. I feel like it would be. I feel like the ending is pretty strict to the book, but who knows?
Rhoda, you're mine, and I carried you. And I can't let them hurt you. I can't let them take you away and shut you up. They'd stare at you and make a show of you. And nobody can save you from that unless I save you. So sleep well. And dream well, my only child and the one I love. I shall sleep too.
This is
The Amateur Film Critics.
You're watching
The Amateur Film Critics. So, with that said, next thing we have on the little docket here is the acting. What actors do you think did good, and which ones do you think were subpar, Zion?
Well, as I was thinking about it, I feel like at times the mother seems to be overacting.
Yeah.
Or seems to be whiny, but I don't think that plays as a faulty to the film. And,
I think it works for the character.
I think she does. Yeah, I think it works for the character, but at times, there is a small amount of times where her character is kind of annoying, but I think it's just how. I think it maybe because of the play, maybe, but
yeah, and I would say,
I don't think it works for what film and the scenario that her character is in.
Yeah. And I would say that I think something really interesting. I'm going to kind of smash the acting and characters categories together so that we can talk about both of them at the same time. But I would say I think the way the mother plays it works really well, because you have the mother's character being very innocent. She talks about how she hates violence of all sorts in the very beginning, right? And so that contrasts really well with the little girl who is dark and sinister and like just empathyless. So you have this very different dynamic, and I think that works very well for both the characters, and the actors play them out really well. Which brings me to my next point. The little girl who played Rhoda killed it, because I think she did a great job.
Yeah, her acting is so good.
It's so good.
I feel like
especially
no
for
one
kids.
could have done this. This may be one of the best child acting of all time.
I know. I totally agree with you. She plays it so well. Like, I don't know how she does it, but she plays... I could not see anyone else playing the character in a way. Like, it's just that good.
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
Alright, but before we get to favorite scene, we have to talk about favorite characters. So, Zion, who do you give this award to?
Well, the little girl's character probably is my favorite.
See, the problem is I usually don't like my favorite character to be someone that's unlikable in that way. But the thing about the little girl is she's a character you love to hate in a way.
She outshines
all the other characters. So I kind of agree. I think the little girl might be the best character in this film. Now, we also have favorite scenes. So I'm gonna go first and let you go second, if that's okay. I'm sort of torn between two scenes, I'll be honest. The first scene is the one Zion was talking about earlier, when the little girl kills the gardener. She does it by setting him on fire while he's asleep, and then locking him in the, like the basement, right?
In the basement.
Yeah. So as the man is lit on fire and he's burning to death, right? The girl comes into the room, their like apartment place, and goes into this back room and continues playing this song on the piano that she's basically been playing throughout the entire film. You hear her practicing multiple times. And I don't know, it's so suspenseful and so tense, because you have the mother's breaking down crying because she realizes that the girl killed the gardener. And the mother also witnessed the guy run out of the basement and die right there on the lawn. So she's also like super traumatized from that, right? All while this girl is playing this song so unbothered, like that it's so crazy. And I think it's the scene, the way the scene plays out is so incredibly tense, and I really like that scene. The other scene, which I liked a lot, and I honestly don't know if I can choose a favorite between this one and this other scene, is the first time the first time the drunk mom comes in to confront the regular mother.
Really?
Yes. This scene really, I don't know if it was the performance of the drunk mom or what, but you have this whole mystery of whether or not the girl had anything to play in the kid's death. We still don't know that. And just this, I don't know why, but all the acting in that scene and just the feeling of it, it really played out well, and I really liked it. So that one and the scene where the gardener dies are both really far up there and like tied for my favorite. I don't know if I can even choose.
Okay, so for my favorite scenes, I think I also have a tie, but with two completely different scenes.
Okay.
My first favorite scene is the one we talked about earlier, which is when the mother talks to her daughter while giving her the sleeping pills and then puts her to bed.
Yeah.
And then shoots herself. I liked that scene a lot.
Yeah.
I've already talked about it, but my other favorite scene was when the mother first finds the boy who drowns his like medallion or like ribbon, and the girl's just like drawer.
Yes.
And that was a really shocking scene, and, because you expect it coming, but you don't expect it like that,
So, with that said, Zion, do you want to give your final thoughts, or do you want me to go first? I'll let you choose who goes first.
I'm gonna have to give this a... Wait, are we rating the film now, or just...
Yeah, we're rating the film.
Okay. For me, this is a 5 out of 5 film.
Okay.
This is a...
Okay, yeah. So for me, I thought this movie was really, really good. The only downfalls I really saw to it is that I thought it broke up the tension that it was building a little too much with these pieces of like... It wasn't even that much of what was happening in the film, but there were multiple times where they would play this score over the dialogue that felt more like a romantic drama than the like suspenseful, tense movie that we were watching. And so it made their... I don't know.
I don't remember that too much.
I remember it because I don't know why it stuck out as much to me, but it did. Yeah, so I would have liked it to continue building that tension without breaking it up the way it did. And then another downfall for me was the ending. I agree that it should have ended with her killing herself. other than like them drawing it out. And then having that very strange, which I can't believe we haven't talked about this. It ends with like the actors coming out and like doing a bow, which is really strange.
Well, that's because
it was being based off a play.
It was a play, and think this is the oldest movie we have watched on the.
Really, I thought Doctor Strangelove might have been slightly older, but I'm not sure. So you might be right.
No, I think this is
just the oldest.
I think this is older. So I think this. I think that was the time.
Yeah, you think that was the time? Okay, yeah. Which I can say, I think they might have put that there so that it so that people aren't like too scared of it, or like keep it a little bit lighter at the end, because I know back then they were much more sensitive about that stuff being on the screen. But even with those downfalls, I think this is such a great movie that I'm gonna give it 5 stars.
Yes,
yeah.
This makes me so happy. I was so worried you weren't going to.
Yeah, I kind of led you on there by talking about all the things I didn't like about it, but no, yeah, I'm giving this 5 stars. I think it deserves it. I think it's such a great plot, and the actors did such a great job. So this is amicably approved. Even if you watch this without watching it, even though we told you should go watch this film before you watch our review. We definitely recommend that you go watch this. It's amateurly approved, so you basically have to now. I'm going to say this till the day I die. This movie deserves this amateurly approved more than Cruella did. And
yes.
Finally, remember to subscribe, like, and follow our Instagram. There's a link in the description. It's at Amateur Film Critics. Any last words, Zion? Yeah.
Goodbye, y'all.
Bye.
Right, you little blooders. We've had quite enough of your evil mischief.
But you're the one who's been bad. You've been sneaking puddings.
But, how did you know?
We know all your secrets.